What's poppin', everybody? It's Dave Drakes here with my main man, Mr. Manny Fresh, and we're here for another episode of the Foul Plugs Moto Show. We got into it with WW, a race that you and me, Manny, were amped to check out. We got sand, big jumps, tight corners, flowy corners. It gets rough. A lot of good stuff to talk about. Let's kick right into it. This was, like I said, a track that we were both looking forward to. I did not expect two dudes to go 1-1. I would just go out there and say it. I thought there'd be a lot more parity in the class. It just goes to show you how fast these dudes are. Like, what did you think from watching, man?
I mean, just from a track perspective, I love this track. It flows like really well to me just because, like, I don't know, like it was good to see them on like a high speed kind of track, I would say. Like, so you're able to like, it was really open to me. So I was really good. I thought we were going to see like a few more names be able to kind of hang it out there due to
me too.
It's the layout of it. But I mean, we ended up with the cream of the crop really kind of just rising to the top and doing what they, championship contenders do.
Exactly.
But from an overall standpoint, I mean, I like the track. It looked like it got rough, but it was still really, really fast. And it seemed like there was a lot of places for people to try to make passes. But I mean, that's something we kind of like probably should kind of talk to one of the riders about and maybe like see their perspective on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll get some more riders on here for sure. The more we get ramped up with this thing. But one thing that I want to know, if we're just looking at 250s first, kicking into it, we got 3 star guys in the top 5. Like we got Ferrandis obviously going 1-1, Justin Cooper, and then we got Shane McElrath rounding out the top 5. It was pretty visible, like you called it last week. It's pretty visible that Star Yamaha bikes are a step ahead, maybe even 2 of the rest of the pack when it comes to horsepower. I don't know if you noticed, but Ferrandis was on the gas, charging into some corners. Now, I'll give you that. That's talent versus, just straight up horsepower. But if you put 2 guys together, maybe put like Martin, maybe like a McAdoo, somebody Shimoda even, like on a like side by side, and watch those guys take off in a corner wide open. It's very visible that Ferrandis had so much of an easier time. Like he was yarding dudes, like literally someone would get on the gas sooner than him even, and he would still outpull them in the corner.
Yeah, those bikes were pulling so hard out of the corners. It was just literally like kind of like how we said, you were like, you're gonna see a lot of blue up front on this track, and I think it kind of really just showed like those bikes. I would say those bikes are probably the fastest, and I would say the Geico bikes are really close behind it. Because those Geico bikes are really fast, but it's just something. The bottom end on the Yamaha bikes, you can clearly see the difference.
Exactly, which is a far cry from my 07 250F that I just could not get to work. Those things were sick. And one thing that I actually liked about this race was, like you mentioned it, there were so many lines that we could see guys go in and out of. You saw a lot of jump combos through the rollers that paid dividends to, the guy who got through it the cleanest, or the dude that held it wide open the most in this one section, the guys that actually looked for those really good lines. So I thought that was pretty dope. So the points are a little bit more spread out now in both classes. Who kind of stood out to you from this weekend? Let's go 250s and then kick over to 450s. Who kind of stood out, in each class, whether that be a, standout ride, like awesome, they're doing great, or bro, this dude was sucking wind. I did not see this dude all race. What happened?
I was actually pleasantly surprised to see Justin Cooper get the second overall. Just because we hadn't really seen this Justin Cooper all season, and we know he's a really, really good outdoor rider. Yes. So I was really I was kind of waiting for this to happen for him to, really get out there in the front and get in that second in the second moto. Was really good to see him really get out there and kind of hold it. I was starting to begin to wonder if something was wrong or something like that. So I was saying the 250s, he definitely really, was one of my standouts in terms of surprising me.
Well,
How about you for the 250?
I'm gonna have to say I'm kind of shocked with Shimoda and Carson Mumford sneaking in 8 and 9. It's kind of a man's track, and we know those guys are kind of young, some rookies.
Yeah.
They don't have their man strength yet, like we all like to say. And that they had some solid rides. Top 10 at a track like this, pretty solid. They're not strangers to the top 10. I just expected them to kind of have a bad moto here and there, and they stayed fairly consistent. So I'm pretty surprised by them. And bro, how angry or just like maybe deflated is Jet Lawrence, dude, just getting straight fourths for like
Oh my
3
gosh.
rounds
It's like
now. Is he
he's
ready?
been on that bubble. He's been on the
Right?
bubble, and it's just like, come on, dude. Like he comes out, he gets the second in the first mode. I'm like, okay, today's the day. We're gonna
Yep.
do it. We're gonna get
Yep.
it done today. I'm like, he's got the
Exactly.
speed. He likes the track. I'm like, we're gonna get it done. And then the second moto, he just gets the fifth, and it was just like, oh, like
He's gonna be ready to throw hands next weekend. Watch Lakewood. He's gonna have the hands for everybody.
exactly. Yeah. Next weekend, I know he's gonna be pissed because I know it's something that he wants to get done, and he knows he can do it. So it's just like he has to get it done next
Exactly.
weekend.
And he's got the talent. He's a pretty spry dude. So definitely he's going to be up there. It's just a matter of time. We see that sometimes with some pros. I can't pinpoint exactly who, but you've seen a few times when like you'll see him, start out at 15th. They'll grab the top 10 spot. They'll be consistent top 10. Then they'll get the top 5, be consistently top 5, and then slowly start getting their way. And then something clicks and they're, title threats. So it's only a matter of time for this guy. We got to give a shout out to Jarrett Fry also sneaking in with the 11th. Not a bad result for a new dude popping up. That's pretty dope. But right behind him, man, we have RJ Hampshire in 12th. That dude had a ride, man. What happened on that crash?
Oh my! I didn't think he was gonna get up from that.
Right?
That was such a gnarly crash. Like, oh my gosh! And then it was just the bike and everything. I was just like, he went for a ride, literally. Like in the live stream, you just kind of see him getting up from it at first, and then you're like, what the hell happened? And then when they finally pulled it back and showed the crash, it was crazy.
Oh, it was insane. So that dude's got a guardian angel looking over him, man, because that was a drop. That was a drop and a half.
I don't know if you would have made it out of that one.
Oh man, me? Nah, I would have been like, all right, well, it's been a good career, been a good life. Oh man, yeah, that was.
A couple people that I did want to point out was Jerry Robin in the top 20 again. That was really good to see Jerry up there again.
Yep, shaking up the fantasy leagues, most definitely.
Yeah, and then big news. I don't know if you noticed it. Jordan Jarvis qualified. That was big.
I was so amped for her, like
super
that.
Super
yeah,
pumped.
that was so dope. This is just the first step. So I messaged her. I think yesterday or day before, and she's so ecstatic, man. We got to get her on the show for sure. But like, how dope is that to have like a female rider like representing just so many like so many little girls up there just like have a dream of doing this, and to see somebody out there doing it and doing it well. Like literally, like Jordan, it was one of the female riders that when you watch her ride, she looks like just a regular fast 250 pro. Like when people watch her ride, they say like that's a fast rider. And we always hear, oh, like she's fast for a girl and all that bull crap. But Jordan is like part of a crop of women that are just fast. They're just fast athletes. And she's kicking ass, man. The whole SGB team has gotten her off to a really good spot, to make these like great transitions into like, qualifying and feeling good on the bike and having that whole thing, work really well for her and be an absolute weapon for her. And she's making it happen.
Yeah, definitely. I was definitely proud to see that. And it's only better things to come from here.
Oh, for sure. And especially on this track too. The track was so rough. Oh,
exactly. She was hanging it out there.
Exactly. But like dudes like Derek Drake, she's ahead of like a lot of dudes that, should be up there. She was holding her own. Also got to give a shout out to a notable Jared Steinke. Stank Dog is doing pretty decent too. He's been making usually all these rounds, and he's I know he's looking for better results. I'm sure these are harder to come by these days, these good results. But it's good to see him out there for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, we got a lot of decent privateers that keep going. Guys, please support your local privateers. If you're at local private track, you know of a guy that's 3-digit out there trying to make it in the pro ranks, give him a follow. Tell him thank you for just being out there in the race, giving us more guys to fill the gates and giving us more guys to look up to. Support your local privateer and the privateers that are national. Manny, let's kick over to the 450s. Again, we saw another 1-1 domination by Zach Osborne. I feel like Osborne and Ferrandis are kind of like the clear like favorites right now to win. I will say the 450 class has a lot more depth in terms of guys that can win a race. So we've seen AC. I think Tomac got a win. Baggett. Now we Zach Osborne. So this one has a little bit more parity in it. Was Zach Osborne like the fastest dude this weekend, or was he just the most consistent, most tenacious?
I think a mix of both. Zach's ride was really impressive to me because it wasn't like he whole shot it and front ran the whole race. Zach really had to decipher the track, make passes, find good lines, figure out where to be aggressive, where not to be aggressive. And he was just really aggressive to put this round anyway. And that was the Zach that we know from 250s and the Zach that's the 450 points leader and really comfortable. So it was like more so like he needed to make a statement this week. He made the statement. He beat everybody straight up and kind of let everybody know like, hey, like this is my championship to lose at this point.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. He rode very, very well. And it looks like he's one of the only guys, I've said this before, that really gels with his motorcycle. They brought it up on the race coverage. GL was talking about how a lot of guys to their front end sort of get a little bit unsettled, a little chattery going in some of these corners. Zach looks solid, man. His bike did that like the least out of anyone. So his bike setup's on point. I do want to point out that I picked Muskin to have a really good ride. And I think a 3-3 for second overall, good ride for Marvin WW. But I wonder if he did not have that big get off in practice where he got little shit whipped coming off that little that kicker around the mechanics area. I wonder if that doesn't happen if Marvin does in fact give Zach Osborne a run for the overall.
Yeah, he looked really good. Like Marvin looked aggressive. I mean, he made that aggressive pass on Adam. So he looked really comfortable. And you know, I told you about it as soon as he made that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I saw the text. I was like, man, he ain't happy.
But I mean, he looked really comfortable. You know, when he starts doing that and making passes like that, that's when you know, when Marvin gets really aggressive, that means he's really gelling with the track and gelling with his bike. And so that's why I was expecting, to see maybe he was going to compete for a win. Yeah. But like you said, like 3-3 is still a solid ride.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That pass you put on AC, we'll kind of kick off to that a little bit. Do you think that was like a malicious, like I'm here to take you out, like I want you on the ground type pass, or is that just a circumstance of like, oh, whoopsie, I didn't mean to come in that hot, or I didn't know you'd hit that line and kind of collide with me?
I think it was a mix of Marv being really aggressive, trying to make a pass.
Yep.
AC not wanting to give the position up.
Yep.
And then the lines kind of coming together a little bit. I wouldn't say it was anything too malicious, but it was kind of one of those, like what the heck. But I think if Marv goes down, AC doesn't really think of anything of it.
Yeah.
But it was obviously the other way around. So.
Yeah, that was a bit of a bummer. I wanted to see what AC could do. The whole race, like see if he could push, maybe make a run for a 2-1, upset the points a little bit, get those points back that Osborne stole from in the first one. But just kind of the way the cookie crumbles. I was impressed. However, I don't know if it was the second or first moto where he was like second place, like kind of like a few turns after the start behind Barsha, and I figured he'd kind of be a little bit more timid around Barsha, going over some of these jumps. They scrubbed side by side, and he attacked right away and got to the front like almost immediately. So I thought that was pretty cool. I mean,
super aggressive. He was super aggressive at the beginning of the race, and I was like, hell yeah! Like he was when he did, like you said, that scrub by Barsha when they both came hanging off the back of the bike. I was like, oh yeah, he's going for it.
Right? I thought he kind of settled, give it a few corners because Bam Bam is like he earns that nickname. Like he will put you on your ass. So to see AC be like, you know what, I'm getting away from this motherfucker. Like I'm not trying to mess with him too much. Let me get around. Like I'm not afraid to run him into these lines or take the line that I want. That was cool. I thought that was super dope to see. And it's kind of goes to show you the confidence that AC acquired over the last couple of races. So props to him. Sexton came out with a 2.7. Thought he was solid. It was kind of cool to see him kind of give something a little bit to AC. They were playing a little cat and mouse for a quick second. So
yeah, I really liked Sexton's racecraft is really good. Like honestly, the way he in his line selection, I think because until AC picked it up when he was doing that double out of the rollers, that was like way faster. And then finally AC picked up on it, but it was just like some of the things that he's doing are just veteran. He seems like just really, really comfortable, and being aggressive, picking out new lines, putting his bike wherever he wants to put it. Yeah. And it was just a couple of things that I was just really impressed with for him being a rookie.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I do like how, also when you watch the guy ride, he's never out of perfect form. Like elbows are always up, leg is super high, connected with the bike. His form is perfect. Like, you can take a snapshot of him every second of the race and every single frame is going to be perfect. So I like that about him. I want to give props to Max Anstey with the 7th overall. We saw a yellow front fender kind of like scoop into the shocks a lot more this weekend. So got to give a shout out to the Suzuki Hep squad. Those guys are making that bike work for Anstey and giving him a tool that he can really use to put them on the map, as well as garner some decent results to introduce himself to a lot of people that might not know, how good this GP rider can go. I mean, he did the amateur circuit for a while, did a few Supercrosses, then boom, jetted over to the GPs and came over here, and he's looking every bit as solid as some of the seasoned vets that we've had for years. I mean, just right behind a Blake Baggett, ahead of like Savachi, Barsha, Craig. I mean, these are some potable guys that are, that are up there, and he's killing it, man.
Yeah, there was a few guys that really pushed their way up like this week. I know, like I said again from last week, Jake Masterpool's been riding really well.
Yes.
With a 15th again this week. Ty Bowers, 16-16.
Finally. And did you
Rodbell again?
Yeah. Did you see Bowers' Instagram? And he was like, "Yeah, thank God it was so hot. I missed the heat. I missed the rough track." And I'm like, bro, you're an animal, man. If it gets hotter and rougher, you do better. Like, bro, come on. That's like machine right there.
But yeah, that's some of the riding, I'm pretty sure that we were all expecting from him. And that's the Tyler Bowers, type of results we were expecting, more closer to that top 15.
Exactly. Like you said, Rod Bell and A-Ray. A-Ray finally putting together the rides. But it's kind of cool because Rod Bell is his teammate. Rod Bell's a relatively unknown dude. So to see a kind of, I'll quote him as like a newer kid, to come in and kind of battle with A-Ray, who's almost like a seasoned vet in the privateer world, and be one spot just ahead of him. That's kind of cool, man. They're buddies too. So
exactly.
That's kind of cool. And again, props to Jason at SGB team manager for getting so many great personalities on his team that are super fun to follow, are very talented, and that can get along and gel so well. That's super dope, man.
Yep. What do you think the deal is with Benny Bloss? Like, I know he's on his own privateer effort this year and things like that, but this week, wasn't the results we were really looking for. I wasn't able to catch like if he went down or anything like that, but we know he's fast. So what do you think's going on?
He's a top 5 guy for sure. I don't know. I think it's just I don't want to say it's factory machines are the end all be all. Yeah, they make the job easier. They handle much better. The chassis response is better. I think Benny's just having just a little bit harder time gelling with the bike setup that works for him. Not necessarily that it can't work for him. I just think he's just searching for that next little bit on his bike. And it's a whole thing. When you're on a privateer team, there's so many other aspects and things that come into place. Like you got to worry about flights now. You got to worry about paying your mechanic. And you got to worry about this and that and this sponsor money. So many things are being thrown at you. So I think it's gonna take him a little bit of time to get used to it. If Benny does not get a ride for 2021, you can expect to see those results continue to keep climbing as he gets more and more comfortable with the spot he's in. But it goes without saying, we know Benny Bloss can go out there and kill it. Like the dude's top 5 capable. It's just a matter of getting used to this whole new setup that he's on. But I think it's coming. We got Adam Entignap too in 26. Slowly rising. You see him kind of bump up to fall 1. We're getting up there. I expect to see the Deuce continue to keep climbing it. Like I said, he's new to doing the full outdoor series. This is a super competitive class, and he's usually a Supercross specialist. So the fact that he's even out there competing with these guys I think is pretty dope. So don't count out the 7 Deuce just yet. The guy's got plenty of heart, plenty of talent, and you'll see him up there for sure. Anyone other notables that you mentioned? I gotta, before we kick off, Jared Lesher also. Props to Jared Lesher, super likable guy, and he's continuing to be out there and do some decent results. So, Manny, anyone else that you want to mention on the list?
Only other person, another Houston guy was Van Martin, with the 24th this week. Good to see him back out there.
Yep, another vet. Always out there, holding it down. I got to give props to our boy Nathan Laporte. He's from out here in Wisconsin, and you can often find him with the Bolt Hardware race team of Brent Rouse and his brother Dane Rouse. Nathan's one of the most likable dudes out there, and made the trek down to Florida and put her in the show. And the dude rode pretty decent, man, for a guy that's got a full-time job, a little bit older. Nathan's doing really, really well. So again, guys, please be sure to support your local privateer, all these privateer guys that are out here. And if you want to take that even further, please check out the Collective Experience Fan Experience Program, as well as our internship program that gets you guys behind the scenes, helping out some of these hardworking blue-collar privateers and support riders. You get a chance to really see what it's like going behind the velvet rope and have a personalized day where these top teams and riders are catering to you, giving you an experience that you'll never forget. We're talking opportunities to talk to their gear guys, talk to team managers, talk to the mechanics, touch the bikes, get all access passes, get some cool swag and some memorabilia from the actual riders. And our internship program is launching people's careers in the motocross and supercross industry, giving guys a chance to make some incredible connections that will get them those dream jobs that we all want. So again, check out thecollectivexp.com, at the Collective EX on Instagram. Manny has done it many times, has way more connections than I have, and he's a testament to how great this program is. Now, Manny, we actually have the opportunity to talk to a mechanic of a few of the current Supercross and Motocross stars, and that is Brandon Anderson. We're really happy to get him on and get a chance to kind of pick his brain from an insider's perspective, see what his thoughts are on the industry, on the current racing, and his experience as a mechanic. And we're going to cut to that right now. Welcome back. We are really excited to have Mr. Brandon Anderson, mechanic to the stars, on with us today. Brandon, what's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. I'm actually living the life right now. I'm not jet setting every weekend, but well, not that those guys are really flying too many places right now, but I'm living a good life now.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah.
So for those of you guys that don't know, Brandon is a X Factory mechanic, wrenching for some of your favorite riders out there. Honestly, the dream job, if I'm going to be honest. Brandon, for people that really don't might not know who you are, the very few people out there, kind of give us a brief rundown of like your how you got into the industry, wrenching for factory guys, and some of the guys that you work with, because I think it might blow some people's minds.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I grew up in the inner city in Atlanta, so that's always like my start. I never forget where I came from, and but I happened to discover motocross through my dad. He loved like NASCAR and drag racing, and we just started watching it and just kind of stuck.
Yeah.
And got my first dirt bike when I was like 12. Started doing some races, and I realized, I wasn't gonna go pro. I'm not out here killing it. Just scrubbing everywhere. So I ended up going to MMI, going to that route, and I just had no knowledge really of anything as far as mechanical, how a bike worked, anything like that. It helped me with that, but it also helped me kind of network a little bit, and half of like what you want to do is like who and if they know your work ethic, they know what you're about, they can put you in the right position. So I actually got a call from a Parts Unlimited rep, a Parts Unlimited rep called in 2007, called us, the general manager at the dealership I was working at, and he was like, hey, I need a practice mechanic for Ben Townley.
Yeah.
And I had been working for some like little guys, local guys that you wouldn't know of.
Yeah.
And then, the general manager was like, hey, I might have a gig for you. And I'm like, what? Ben Townley,
Right.
Ben Townley is a former, MX2 champ, and won that East Coast Supercross title. And I'm like, dude, Ben Townley, that's crazy. So
he was
this was
popping back then.
Yeah, man. So this was back in 08 when he signed with Honda. And he hurt himself before the light season, but I started working with him right before outdoors, and that was a roller coaster. I respect that guy a lot. He's probably one of my top two guys as far as like just heart that I worked for, and but I learned a lot from him. I ended up working with Davey after that as a practice mechanic, Millsaps. They kind of rode nearby each other. And we're both on the same team. When Ben went back to New Zealand, it kind of worked out for me. And then went back home again, worked with Davey for a little while, and things at home I'd had to take care of some stuff. So I went back home, worked with Andrew Short as a practice guy. Actually won my first and only 450 Supercross race with him, which was amazing. I worked for Gurkey a little bit in there for a Supercross season. I forgot what year. I was supposed to work for J-Law, but he never showed up.
No.
He never showed up to
Come on,
Hangtown.
J-Law.
That was Suzuki City, man. And that was, what year was that, man? I can't remember. I think it was like 10 or 11 outdoors. And yeah, I had his bike ready and everything, never showed up. So,
man.
But yeah, I Andrew Short, I have a really good connection with him. He's an honest dude, good dude. Like he busts his butt. But yeah, he was the most fun, the most good outside of the sport experiences I had with him. And then after him, I worked for Malcolm as his practice mechanic. And then that was a lot of fun. That was fun more than anything. And then after that was Factory Suzuki. So I went to Suzuki, and worked with Baggett. And that really showed that it was an eye opener, because it really exposed to me like the amount of work and dedication you really have to put into it. And I fulfilled my contract, but I think after that I was just like, you know what, I love motocross, but I'm just not meant for this. So
it's a lot,
but I still love it. I still watch it, and I had some great experiences. Like there's some stuff like I forgot which year it was at James Lanham, man. I can't remember if it was like 13 or 14, but I saw his chain break in a transition in a rhythm section, and he bike endoed, he flew off, landed, and then he won Atlanta that weekend. You know what I mean? Like I just see stuff like that during the week, like crazy stuff, and it's like you don't even know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like dude rode like 20 minutes that week and gets on the bike and wins the race. So I'm grateful for like that experience, man, that part of my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See, that's cool. So half those guys you named were like dudes that I used to like have on my wall back in the day, because I'm 29 right now. So the whole like Gurkey, like the 07, 08, 09, I was like in high school. I was like just kind of breaking into like that like youth A kind of. So I was I was heavy in it. So man, all that I was like, yo, okay, that's the guy I had on my wall. So that's awesome. I'm glad you touched on the dedication part, because we get with our program, we get a lot of people that are like, hey, I want to enter the program. I want to be a mechanic. I want to be, a pit chief. I want to do this and that. And we always try to hammer home how much dedication it takes. It's blood, sweat, and tears. You almost have to put your life on hold for a little bit to seize the opportunities to get the success on the weekends. And even that is not guaranteed. Because so many things there's so many moving parts.
Yeah, so it really is.
I'm glad you touched on it.
Yeah, along those lines, like I forgot to tell you, I don't know if you remember Wonder Warthog. So I actually did that internship for like a couple years just in Supercross. And I was so fortunate that my dad worked for Delta, so I would use the buddy passes to fly to almost all the Supercross races. And then the second year I did it, which was 08, that year that I got that call. I was in college trying to get my associates. Like I was doing a lot of stuff, flying out on the weekends and get to the races and doing all the stuff. And that was dedication, because I wasn't getting paid. But dedication is working on a factory team. And for everybody that's like, oh, it's cool, like I want a cool Instagram picture, like me as a mechanic working on my bike. Like you think that's cool, but the work you got to do to get there, man, it ain't no joke. And hopefully you're doing it for the right reasons, because it is a lot of work and it's mentally draining, because you got to be perfect. You have to be the best. And if something breaks on that bike and it's your fault, like everybody in the industry knows, everybody like, is going to put that, check on you and be like, yeah, watch out for this mechanic. You know what I mean? So you just got to make sure you're on your stuff, Exactly. That's super important to anybody that's trying to do it. And just respect the craft, ask questions, talk to different mechanics, like, just grow your craft. That's all.
100%. I'm glad you touched on it. So obviously, like you said, there's a lot involved. Talk about when like a weekend goes good, when like your guy is either winning or on the podium and the team's feeling good. Like, what's that feeling like? Like what, and what are some of the steps to get there?
Yeah. So, okay, let me give you the Andrew Short win story.
Okay.
So a lot of people, like young kids, won't really remember, but at first it was Supercross.com Honda that year. And then there was a bunch of stuff with sponsorships or money, or I don't know what was really happening, but there was just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
And they pulled a plug, and then Chaparral came in. And basically, we didn't really know what was really happening for a while. And then we ended up going to Seattle Supercross in 2012, driving the bike in the Sprinter van, and like just setting up under Honda's tent because they were just fortunate enough. And it you know, everybody says a stock bike. It wasn't a stock bike. Like, you know, it was pretty much, you know, pretty much the same bike, you know, but as the other guys. But still, we had no program. Like, we had nothing really around us. We had no structure. So it was just like, what's going on, you know? And I was a practice mechanic. So Andrew comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, you want to be my race mechanic for this weekend? I'm like, what? I mean, it was cool because it was just, I'd been a race mechanic, but it was just like, man, that's crazy. Like, so I was nervous, I'm not gonna lie, but I was playing it off like everything was cool, and we had a good day of practice. I think we were 5th in practice, fastest, which was like for Andrew, that's dope, you know. And Seattle gets super ruddy, like super ruddy, and I just remember like this got through in the heat, and then the main event, there's 2 things that happened that night that were crazy. Tomac and Wilson were going at it for the championship. And when Tomac took Wilson out, it was right in front of us in the starting gate. So we were all like, oh, like everybody on the gate. And I just remember that energy in the crowd, and like everybody screaming like, oh, because I remember Dean Wilson was like tweeting him and saying like, you know, Tomac flies Virgin Airlines and stuff. So I remember that whole thing was just crazy. It was just so dope because there was some spice in motocross again. And then after that, so we're at the gate, and I see a big rock in our starting gate and our rut, and I start kicking that thing with my boot, kicking it won't come out. And I go and grab a screwdriver, and Larry Brooks yells at me. He's like, hey, you can't use tools on the gate. Like, I almost got us DQ'd, honestly, you know?
Oh, no.
So yeah, I was like, oh, shit, you know, and that my toe still has a little mark on it from kicking. And just to win that race wire to wire with, like, a young Ken Roxon behind him, like, you know, and yeah, Dungey went down. I think Villapoto, something happened to him. I can't remember. But, like, dude, Andrew deserved that, man. We deserved that. That team deserved that. Like, it was just, like, the elation, the joy I had was just, like, it's unbelievable. And I'm kind of glad, like, it was only one time, because, like, a lot of guys get used to that feeling. And it's, dude, it was just, I'll never forget it, man. Like, I didn't sleep. I didn't sleep for, like, a week, you know, and you know, Andrew, he was gracious to me and gave me a nice little bonus, you know, which I wasn't actually supposed to get. So, you know, like, that's the kind of stuff that he did that, like, made that a great relationship. But yeah, man, it's just, when you win, it's just awesome. It's awesome. Or when you're podium or you got momentum, like, it's just such a good feeling, you know?
Oh, definitely. And nobody was expecting him to win that race because, like you said, you had Villo, you had Dungey, you had young Ken Roxon. And actually, I felt like Roxon was just as excited as, like,
dude,
because they were boys. So it was kind of cool to see, like, Roxon was, like, cheering for him too. So that was cool. I think it almost reminded me of, like, when Justin Brayton won Daytona, the whole industry was just so excited. And it kind of reminds me of, like, you know, that just a couple years earlier. So
yeah, Andrew definitely has talent, you know, but funny that year too, like, later on the outdoors, Kenny came and stayed in Texas at Andrew's ranch. And when I tell you, like, I had never seen anybody as dedicated at that moment than Ken. And like, the dude's getting up for a run, going back, you know, gym, riding, you know, recovery, like gym again. Like, the dude just had, like, unreal energy, man. And that was cool to see that up front and up close, you know, that kid coming over here and, like, you know, saying he wants to be the best in America. So when people kind of talk down on him, I'm like, man, like, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know what this dude's dealt with. And you sitting here on your couch just, like, eating Funyuns, you know. But he really had to overcome some stuff. So, but that's just another little side note, you know.
No, 100%. So you and I talked a little bit before we started recording. You're still big into, like, watching the races. You're still part of it. I think with any of us, right? Like, it's part of who we are a little bit. We just had WW. one of probably the most exciting race seasons that we've seen in a little while. We've got a lot of people in there. We were talking a little bit about the pass that Moskin had on AC and all that calamity. What was your take on like just the entire weekend, like that pass, the 250, the 450? Like what's your take on the sport right now?
Well, Osborne. I forgot what his overall was.
I think he went 1-1.
What am I talking about, man? I'm thinking about Ferrandis, but Osborne said like, I forgot which race it was. He was like, when the track is fast, like he's not that good, and like, man, the track seemed kind of fast to me, like, and it seems like he's good on a fast track. So like, I don't know how to look at that. Maybe it's like in his head or something. But
probably.
Zacho, man, like, I'll be honest, like I had an opportunity to be his practice guy too before I went and worked with AC, which I forgot to mention, but I had an opportunity to work for him, and I know that he was dedicated. It just didn't work at the time, but like I've seen him put in the work, and like I'm not surprised that he's winning outdoors in 450. But yeah, Adams just got a little learning curve to get over. Track's different. Stuff like that on the 450s are out. It's a lot of different stuff you got to kind of work through. And the guys are just like way more crafty when they're using lines and stuff, which Adam's really good at lines. But Adam's kind of where I thought he was going to be. I knew he was going to win some races. Muscan, I didn't know where he was going to be. Like Baggett got a win a few weeks ago. I didn't really know where he was going to be, but it just seems like a lot of guys are stepping up right now and just kind of putting their foot in there, Tomac, go away, whoever's up front, go away, it's my time. So, but yeah, it's just a lot of uncertainty. So you're seeing a lot of different dudes, show up, and but in the 250s, man, like Ferrandis, I figured that's what was going to happen. Yeah. I knew J Mart was going to be up there. Honestly, Hampshire surprised me.
Me too. Big time.
It's gonna sound bad, but he crashes a lot.
Yeah.
And he hasn't crashed as much, and he's been consistent. So, like, to me, that's cool. I think that's cool that he's staying consistent. But it's just uncertain, a lot of uncertainty. So a lot of dudes are, some dudes thrive under it, and some dudes like shrink under it. So you're just seeing some different dudes step up, and I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool.
I have to agree. Like as a race fan, not even like the industry deal, but just being a race fan, I'm excited, man. I'm on the couch watching this race, and I'm like on the edge of it, like screaming and stuff. Seeing all these guys in front. Like you said, it's not just Tomac anymore, which is a whole other topic. But we're seeing like Barsha's finally put up, showing a front fender. We've got AC coming up, bringing some young blood. Sexton's looking good. Muskin. I mean, you've got so many people. Anstey showed a yellow fender here and there. You know what I mean?
Forgot about that too.
Yeah, it's so much. Like we can't even really get into all of it. You know what I mean? It makes it so much better. And like you said, I think a big surprise for me in the 250 was Hampshire as well. Like I'm totally with you. Dude crashed. He would kind of fade. He randomly he'd show up for a third or something like that. But he's so consistent. I think the fact that he changed his program, changed his bike color, new kid. Kind of reset him a little bit. So
for real.
I think if he shows up the same way 2021, that dude's going to be super lethal. I think he's going to be one of the title contenders, serious title contenders. Who has an even more consistent, solid mind frame. He's going to do some damage.
Real talk. And back on Sexton, dude, like I've, working at the Nest, I saw him ride 250s every day and occasionally on a 450, and I just always knew he was going to be successful just by his riding style, his size, like how he's always in the right spot on the bike. He don't use a lot of energy. But yeah, Sexton, man, like I feel like he's got a lot of growth, and he can be like another Dungey type, consistent, winning championships. Like, he's just so good on the bike, and he just makes. I think that Honda, for them to put him on that bike is like a telling sign of how mature he is and how good he is on the bike. So, everybody that's just kind of looking at him now, like, oh, whatever, Chase Sexton, like in the next couple of years, man, you ain't gonna be saying that.
Exactly. So, no, he'll be the one for sure. People, they're sleeping on him a little bit, but he'll be the one.
Yeah, he'll be good. I mean, I think it's gonna be him and Adam just like the next kind of generation just kind of pushing each other up, you know. But
I agree.
But Chase, you know, I think Adam will have his strengths on certain tracks, and Chase will have his, like, especially in Supercross. Like, it's crazy that Adam's from Florida, but he rides hard dirt so much better. Like that, especially like Vegas. Yep. Like how many times he won Vegas, you know, in Supercross or you know, Monster Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just they have their strengths and weaknesses, but man, I can't wait to see that those two battle, you know, coming up. Yeah,
it's coming. It's coming. We saw a little sneak peek of it this weekend where, you know, normally AC can kind of punt Sexton a little bit and pull away.
Yeah,
Sexton wasn't running, man. He was like, bro, we've trained together. I'm right here. You're not dropping me. So,
hey, and I tell you what, and what race was it? Oh gosh, it was a couple weeks ago where Tomac was in second and him and AC just like was doing lap
time.
Was it
Bud? Red Bud?
Was it Red Bud? Yeah, it was Red Bud. Yeah. And his second, was it the second moto? I think it was. First. Okay, but that's normally what, like, Adam can do that when he's up front.
Yeah.
Like they'll, you know, there's like think about Daytona, 2016, when I think it was 16, when Savatgy was like chasing him the whole race.
Yeah.
And he can hold that gap. Like if he's up front and he don't have nobody roosting his number plate, he can hold that gap. He'll put it on. He'll demoralize you a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like, man, if you're giving him some fits a little bit, you know, sometimes it's like, you know, like, and he's even said that to me. It's like, man, I got to start, you know, coming through the pack. You know what I mean? And but you know, he's still learning, man, and it's cool to see him. Like, it was cool to see him hold Tomac off. Like, Tomac's putting on a charge at the end of the race. Like, that's a bad dude. Like, you had to get in his head a little bit, and he's on your team. Like,
exactly. Not many people can do that, man. To hold off Tomac.
Yeah.
And he's got that JS7 cosign too, so you got to remember, like.
Yeah. And you know what else, man? Like, that's another thing. And people will say, like, oh, like, riders get, you know, the same treatment, the same parts, and same this. Mm-hmm. But there's always a number one guy. And I don't care what nobody says. There's a number one guy, and there's a number two guy. And the number one guy will get all the stuff that's potentially going to help him win. So I think, like, for Adam, and I know people think it's crazy, but the energy just goes to that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can feel it.
And so
you can feel the tension.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and so for Adam to do that, man, it was just dope. And now Tomac's got to, like, he's okay, let me step it up. Like, he's got to turn it around now. So, but it's just cool. It's just a lot of cool little aspects and stories in racing right now that are really cool. So,
yeah, I'm liking it right now. So what was your take on the pass that Muskin put on your boy AC? Like,
oh, dang.
Was it a dirty?
I forgot you was asking me. Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah. I just look at, like, you know, a lot of people say, like French guys, they're aggressive and this and that. And like, you know, you can go back to Villeman, you go back to Purcell, like he did a little few things here and there. And like Marvin, like, I just feel like Marvin sees an opportunity and he just doesn't hesitate. And where a lot of guys are like, that's not the right spot, and they'll wait. But like, you know, I've seen Marvin before, like and to me, it's not like, you know, he was coming from the outside. He was just trying to go for that line. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you can go back a couple weeks to Redbud, where Adam was trying to pass that guy, the lapper on the outside.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get in front of him, but it was just, you know, he made a bad decision that time. So, you know, and a pass can go either way. It can make you win. It can make you lose. But yeah, I just thought he was like, he saw an opportunity and he said, all right, I'm gonna go for it. Yeah. And it just happened. But I think some people are overreacting.
I think so too. Same thing with, like, when you watch, like, Ferrandis make these dive bomb moves. I just think they like you mentioned a little bit ago, like they're just so, like, I want that line, like, I need to go, I need to do this and kind of figure it out after, you know what I mean? Where a lot of people take it as like dirty riding, but really it's just those guys are just so blinders on.
That's it, man.
They want that
and it's a whole different, like, you know, story when you're okay, like when you and me are riding at the track just on Saturdays, like that's one thing.
Yep.
But then you put us in a Saturday night race, that's another level.
Yep.
And then you go to like Loretta's, that's another level of pressure and intensity. And then you go to the 250s, then you go to the premier class, and like, bro, you got to perform. And sometimes it's like, hey, bro, if you're going to hold me up for a lap or two, sorry. I mean, sorry, man. It is what it is. I love you. We'll get dinner later, but you got to go. So, you know, a lot of dudes are just, I mean, you just got to make it happen, man. And that's just how it is. That's the only way you're going to keep your ride.
I got to agree with you. I mean, like, true. Those are facts right there. So in your stint of wrenching for just more awesome, notable dudes, and I could even recount, who has been like your one favorite dude to wrench for? Like, I know that there's a lot of personalities that you've worked with.
Yeah.
Who's been your favorite dude?
Yeah, you know, and I'll always say this: Andrew Short was and is a stand-up dude, man. And like, dude, like I can't even tell you, like we've had some real personal moments and stuff. Like we've had like he's just always aware of the people around him, how they feel. Where like, and I'm not calling guys selfish or saying they're like aloof or whatever, but like some guys are just, and you know, it's about the rider. Like I get it, you know, but I'm also the kind of person where like I care about how everybody feels in the group. And sometimes you'll get some people disrespecting you or saying some stuff, and it's like, bro, like, bye, bro. Like my morals and how I feel like ain't worth sitting here hearing this from you or dealing with this energy or this situation.
Exactly.
And not that everybody's a certain way or whatever, but like sometimes the energy, you know, and the vibe, you know, like you look at a guy like LeBron James, he can go to any team and the chemistry is great, you know, but sometimes like the personnel is a big deal, you know, like that's why you saw KTM doing so well for a while, because you got Carlos Rivera, you got Frank Latham, you got Coster, you got Ian, you know, like you got a bunch of dudes that are just dedicated and they're all geniuses, you know, they're all smart. So, you know, but yeah, it's I forgot what I was talking about, but yeah, it's crazy. It's Andrew Short. Yeah. Andrew was just that dude that made everybody feel like good. You know, he made me feel good coming to the shop every day, you know, and we had our personal moments, you know, he's just a good dude. He's very generous, you know, and he always looked out for me. So that's my favorite dude for sure.
That's good to hear, man. I mean, we hear all too often about the opposite of like, man, I hate it wrenching for this guy and this stuff like that. So to hear, you know, like like our heroes are actually heroes. Like that's cool, man. Because like I told you, I was such a big Andrew Short fan. I had him in the trailer. I was eating Cowies religiously. I was sneaking in like a Honda hat, like. So yeah,
man, you had to sneak it.
Exactly.
Yeah, but and that's not a slight to like anybody else, because like one thing that I've learned when I got out of motocross is like, you know, how to just be more myself and be like, you know, accepted. Like I don't like something and that's cool. It's just like when you live with these guys and you work with them and like you have to kind of like go by their routine and like what they're doing and how they feel and stuff. And like you got to make them feel good 24/7 when you know you're dealing with some personal issues or you got like some legal stuff you got to take care of and you can't because your guy needs you. Like, you know what I mean? So Andrew was the dude that was always like, hey, take care of your stuff, like your family, whatever it is, and we'll figure it out. You know, so good dude.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. See, I like to hear that. So like I said, we have a lot of people that reach out to us like, hey, I want to do this, what's like 3 things that you think will make like a new up and coming tech or somebody who's interested, like 3 traits or 3 skills that you think would set them up for success?
You know, just that, like the intangibles really more than anything, like just the desire to be like to do it, you know, like everything that we create in real life starts up here. And so you have to like want that, you have to be thinking about it 24/7, you have to think about that, you know, and then you just got to be kind of like bold, you have to talk to people, you have to communicate with, you have, and the third thing is like getting to the races. So you need to be at the races or at the test tracks regularly, giving your resume out, talking to dudes, like always, you know. And it's the same thing with like people in Hollywood, they do the same thing, you know. So you just pretty much, you got to have the desire, you know, you got to be showing up at these places and talking and actually interacting with people. And then you know, you just gotta want it, you know. That's it.
100% agree.
But yeah, it's pretty simple. Just desire and taking a little action will take you far.
I have to
you got to be patient too, though. You got to be patient. But
Too many people think that it's just like, okay, I met this one guy, shake his hand, okay, cool, that should be my end. It's like, nah, dude, that guy's meeting 10 other people,
other dudes,
just like you,
yep,
every single weekend. Like you need to make sure that you're there consistently. And oftentimes, like you mentioned, like your internship stuff and the program that we have, you're working without pay like for a while. Like it takes that sacrifice up front to set yourself up for the great opportunities on the road. So definitely glad you touched on that for sure. One thing that we always ask industry people like yourself, if there's one thing that you could do to change the industry that in a meaningful way, what would that be?
You know, in light of like everything that's kind of happening right now,
mm-hmm.
I would love to have the sport integrated a little more. And like, I would love to have people that grew up in areas like in inner cities where I grew up, you know, I would love to have those kids exposed because, you know, there's a lot of like, and I hate to be like this, but there's a lot of other James Stewarts that we're missing out on, or people that can really like transcend the sport. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know, if we could do that and just somehow figure out, and it's hard too, because, and I'm gonna be real, majority of Black people live in inner cities, poor communities. It's hard to go and spend 10 grand on a bike. You know what I mean? But I just love the sport so much, and like, I would love to be able to like show somebody else that joy, and maybe expose it to some kid that's like just doing a crazy upside down scrub on the track, or innovating riding technique. You know what I mean? Exactly. So that's what I would love to do. I would love to expose it to other people that wouldn't get the opportunity.
I feel the exact same way. Something I'm really passionate about, and that's the main premise of why I started the programs that we have with the collective experience is to grow the sport. Like I want to share how kick-ass my sport is with the world, man. I want more people, because the more guys that we have, it elevates our sport. It becomes more mainstream, which means more money to companies, better gear, better bikes, better venues. We all benefit, you know what I mean? And I think when you get a more diverse group of people, like when you said, when you inject the James Stewarts and the Chad Reeds from Australia and stuff like that, and I think it makes a difference. You know what I mean? It elevates our sport so freaking much. You know what I mean? So I would love to see more women. I love to see more ethnicities, more people from just different areas of the U.S. You know what I mean? Bringing in different aspects to our sport, which I think we need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's hard because like, you know, like the average Black person and I hate to just like make it about Black people, but that's really the only other race you're gonna see besides other, you know, ethnicities from other countries and stuff. But when Black people look at that sport of motocross, they're just like, man, a bunch of rednecks, or like they just don't feel comfortable in around the sport. And I understand, because I've had lots of experiences with these influential people that make me feel or say certain things about my race that demeans it. And it's, you know, I get why they don't want to invest a lot of money into something that they feel like they're not going to be respected. So they go play basketball, it's cheaper, you know, and they feel more welcome because there's Black people playing. And you know, it's sad. I just think that I feel like there's ways to come up, you know, like I'm not like a genius at kind of getting people and stuff, but like I feel like there's ways that Feld or like other, you know, MX sports can like integrate and bring a lot of other people into the sport that wouldn't normally get that chance. And I think that's super important for the growth, just like with NASCAR with the Confederate flag thing. You know, a lot of people are like, I'm in a boycott, but everybody loves NASCAR, you know. Now a Black person might see that and like, man, I feel more comfortable. Like they're getting rid of the Confederate flag. Okay, I feel like I'll go to a NASCAR race. So just little things like that, you know, that can make people feel comfortable about attending a Supercross event.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you. Like it is a bit discouraging when you do have those bad experiences. I think any person of color that or that looks a little bit different, whatever. And I can guarantee you, some women, some female, probably feel the same thing we're feeling. When you go there and you get like you get the stares, you get the little snickers here and there, and the comments and stuff. But one thing I will say, for every bad experience that I've had 10 great ones. So it really sucks that a lot of people you know, didn't kind of do like you and myself, like, okay, whatever, brush it off. I'm still going to go out there and kick ass and do what I have to do. And then you start getting like, wow, this sport is amazing, and it makes all the great things about it kind of
mitigates
all of the bad stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that shit doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
So I wish we could like highlight how great the sport is, because when you get to a certain point, you people respect you because you're killing what you do, whether you're a tech, a team owner, a program owner, a racer. After a while, we all start to realize, man, we all speak the same language. We might have different political views, but you love the thing that I love, and that kind of makes us, you know what I mean, part of the same tribe a little bit. So
exactly.
I do love that aspect of the sport. And like I said, if we could find a way to bring in more people and show them how great moto is, it would be a lot better. Plus, shout out to all the moto moms that make things cohesive, because they're cooking for us and they're doing all these great things. The moto mom could be that person to be like, listen, I'm sitting everybody down, we're making a big ass dinner, and we're all gonna ride dirt bikes. I think that'd be the way to go.
Hey, real talk. And like growing up, like my mom, she was like the majority of other black moms, like, I don't want my son racing, like it's scary, it's dangerous.
Same thing.
Yeah. But my dad, man, and like my mom still came and cooked, but like I'm telling you, man, like there's some moto moms out there, dude, that do everything, man. While dad's at work, everything. I see them, adjusting chains, tire pressure. I see moms changing tubes, like all kinds of stuff, and dude, women are a different breed, man. It's just a different, like I look at some of the stuff my mom did, and even my wife now, and like how long her day is, and like all the stuff she does, and I'm like, man, I would have been taking like 5 naps, So, but for real, there's some crazy moto moms out there, dude.
They're just built different, man. They're built different. Tough enough. I'm glad we touched on that. And I won't take too much of your time, but I got to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
We're going into Colorado. It's a track that is a little bit different than WW, harder packed, more ruts. We've got not as jumpy, I want to say, as WW is, but we're at elevation. Give me your top 3 for each class. Let's get a little some people hyped out there. What do you think the top 3 is going to be like in both classes?
All right, so like, God, Tomac, dude, I don't know where to put him, man.
He's a wild card right now.
Yeah, but like it's a home race, so I'm like, it's time for him to like. It's about that time for the momentum shift. Yeah. It gets hard there. So, like, I expect to see him on the podium.
Yeah.
I think Adam's gonna be up there. It's a little hard pack. Like, I think Adam's in shape. Like, I don't think you got to worry about him fading or nothing.
Yeah.
So as long as he stays on 2 wheels, I see him up there. And Baggett does well there too. Like,
he does.
Even on Suzuki, like he had some top 5s there, and then I think we got a podium once. I can't remember. I think we got a podium. But and then when he on KTM a couple years ago, like when he beat Tomac straight up, like I think it was Tomac. But yeah, he he did good then. So I kind of see a Baggett, Adam, Eli kind of somewhere rearranged somewhere in there, But honestly, I'm gonna take that back though, because like Eli, it might be like Barsha and Eli switching.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I think. Don't know. Yeah, that's like my the one you got to give me, like Eli and Barsha, because I think Justin's like kind of due for one too, but so too. Yeah, that's what I would say for 450. For 250, I'm gonna go ahead and put old Ferrandis up there, and J Mart, I feel like he's in shape. I think I think he does all right in Colorado. And who's surprising me, that the Jet Lawrence, man, like. Yeah, God, I like that kid. I like him a lot. Yep. I'm not gonna say he's gonna podium, but I think he's due to be up there too. So I would put kind of those 3 guys. I don't know about Chase in the 450s as far as Colorado. I don't know if I'd put him up there, but yeah, man, those are my picks. I'm sticking with it too.
No one get too crazy. Don't stamp this and like say, hey, Brandon messed up my fantasy or whatever. These are just mini predictions. So
don't blame me either, man. Don't blame me. Shoot.
No, it's gonna be a good one. I'm excited for this one. Brandon, 100% grateful for you taking the time out to talk to us a little bit. Definitely be sure to give this dude a follow. We're gonna tag him in the video. And guys, if you want to end up like Brandon, you want to get the opportunity to work at the top level of the sport, please check out thecollectivexp.com. Check out our programs, our internship programs in both Supercross and Motocross. And now we're going to Arena Cross for all you guys. So please check us out at The Collective EX on Instagram, contact at thecollectivexp.com for our email. Yeah, you can end up like Brandon.
Hey, and I want to say something too, man. Like, I respect you a lot for what you're doing for the sport, because
appreciate that.
A lot of people just like talk about it, but like you're actually doing it and you're actually trying to expose it. You're actually trying to help people get an opportunity. And there's a lot that should be said for that. And you should actually get a lot more support than what you have, for real. So I hope people out there are listening and watching, and they can give back to somebody that's actually trying to help people that are really trying to get in the sport. So for real, that's awesome that you're doing that.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. I'm trying to make more Brandon Andersons out there, man.
Yeah,
yes, sir. Trying to get people hooked up, and like I said,
you're trying to make some better than Brandon Anderson, man. For real, you're trying to make some Carlos Riveras, dude.
No, I want everybody to grow. I want this thing to be popping for everyone, and just get our sport more recognized.
Absolutely, man.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Well, anytime you need me, man, I'm here, man.
Awesome. We'll definitely have you on again. Guys, again, check us out. Leave us some comments. Let us know if you disagree or agree with Brandon's top 3 picks. Again, don't get mad at us. We'll go from there. Thanks again, Brandon. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. No problem. Have a good one.
Thank you. And that was Brandon Anderson. Again, thank you to Brandon for sitting down an interview with us, giving us some time and giving us a full relay of his history, his take on the industry, and everything else. We're really grateful for his time. Manny, we got through quite a bit of the results, gave our privateer shout outs, a quick walkthrough of the race, and now it is time for the drip check. So this week for drip check, I know you have some goodies. I know you're foaming at the mouth, ready to get to it. So who were your standouts for this week's drip check?
2 guys I had this week. I really liked, I don't know if you caught Mitchell Harrison's Fox gear. It was a sick setup. That I really liked the colors that he had. It popped out, caught my eye on the track. Like I said last week, that new Fox gear is really, really, really nice. And they're coming out with good colorways. They pop well, and they go all the way down to the boots. I mean, those guys are looking sick. And then the other kit that I pointed out to you also was the camo kit that Chase had on. Sexton's camo kit at Alpine Star stuff. I think it was really dope. It's really good to see them with that new line out that they have. It's slimmer fitting. It just looks really, really good. They're coming out with really good, cool, aggressive colorways now. Before they were kind of like plain, and all their new stuff is just really dope. So definitely check that stuff out.
Oh, 100%. I like the A-Star stuff because and we keep harping on it. You think we're sponsored by A-Stars, but really not, guys. We're FXR diehards, so we die. But I like how professional and streamlined that stuff looks. Like, it looks very like professional racer. And I don't know, I guess when you're up there, like, competing for first, it looks a lot better too, like we keep saying, but it looks super clean. I'm also gonna say Jalik Swole with that yellow and black setup. The Fly Racing kit looked really good, and that's another kit that I really like. The team does a really good job of like matching their team colors their brand sponsors, like the yellow for the Rockstar, the black to play off the black of the cans, and it plays nicely with the bike. They just dress it up really nice. The logos look super professional. It's a clean ass kit, man. Jalik Swole, he makes it work, man. If you're not up there in the front, you can at least look dope, and he's
at least look fast.
He's looking easy, so I will say that. Hopefully we can you guys can leave us a comment and let us know what kits you guys think should be promoted and nominated for drip checks each week. Manny, let's talk about what we can expect for next week in our power rankings. So we've seen Zach Osborne go 1-1 this week. We've seen Ferrandis go 1-1. But next week, we've got Colorado. Lakewood is a completely different track. We're at elevation. It's harder packed. It gets rough, but it's rutted. What do you think is gonna shake down, and who is that gonna play into their favor? Like, who do you think is gonna capitalize and benefit from this unique type of soil?
I think without stating the obvious, like I think we all know that Eli is gonna be really comfortable. just in a sense of he trains there. He's really comfortable with the track.
Yep.
I think don't be surprised if we see Eli get the overall win there. Another person that I do think might do well there is Marvin. I think that track also might suit him really well. He usually seems to do really well with the rough stuff. So those are the two guys that I have, my eye on in the 450 class for this upcoming week, to put in some good results.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I think Marv is gonna do really well. He does great when it's really rutted and technical. And Lakewood, we see a lot of that. There's some tight corners where it's like you got to get in and out really quick, and I think that's what Marvin is super good at. I don't know how he does it though. The dude is like 120 pounds on one of the fastest 450s ever made, and the dude he's so smooth and so fast. I don't get it, man. But I definitely think that he's gonna really enjoy this type of surface. I'm not sure if he'll enjoy the altitude, but expect him to be really fast. I do think Tomac's going to be up there as well. I think Tomac is going to be really solid. He's used to the elevation. He's always pretty decent at Lakewood, so definitely keep an eye on him. I also think that Blake Baggett's going to do better. So almost like what we saw at Redbud, I think he's going to have like a sneaky second place and do some crazy stuff that kind of cut to the pack last minute or get up to a good a good start. And be out front and just keep, clocking off his lap times and just yard everybody wire to wire. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a win from Blake and either coming from behind victory or a all out whole shot wire to wire. I think it's coming. I think AC is going to have his hands full with these guys this weekend. I think Osborne's going to have his hands full, but I do think the top three looks like Marvin, Eli Tomac, and then Blake Baggett. Some guys that I think might not do that great. I'm going to have to say Justin Barsha. I hate to say it, but never really stood out to me as a really strong guy at Lakewood. He's going to be fast. He's going to be pretty decent in practice, I imagine, but I don't think he's going to really have a standout ride at Lakewood. And watch, the minute I say that, the guy's going to go out there and win and do some crazy stuff. So do not count on me for any of your fantasy picks. Manny, what do you think for 250 for those guys?
250. I think J Mart's going to have a good weekend. I think he's going to bounce back, recover. Also, just in the sense that he's always usually one of the most fit people in the paddock. So I think that's also going to suit him. Just both, actually, him and his brother. Actually, I think it'll suit both of them. Actually, this track suit them both well. I still think Dylan's going to do really well, just due to the technical nature of it. I think that he's just so comfortable in gelling with his bike.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, those three. I think I'm expecting to see pretty good results. Actually, the Martin brothers and then Dylan. Obviously, I haven't seen. He hasn't showed a chink in his armor yet. Honestly, he's been getting good starts now, so it's hard to even poke anything at him. Before it was, the guy can't start. He doesn't get good starts. Yeah. He has to work his way from the back. He's like, oh no, I can start. Don't you worry. I can show you. And then exactly. So it's hard to poke anything at him, honestly, at this part.
Exactly. I'm gonna have to agree. I do think we still see Dylan go 1-1, much like Marvin Muskin. He likes that technical stuff, the ruddy, really methodical with your line choice, really light on the bike. He's going to be really good at that. So I do think the top three looks the same, save for Jeremy Martin sneaking in that second spot, Cooper going on the third, because Cooper is really good here as well. Sad to say, Jet Lawrence will have to take another fourth, man. I mean, he'll get a top three in the moto. Don't think he'll be third or better overall. I think he's going to have to wait another round. One guy that I think might have a harder time is Alex Martin. We know that bike is done on power, but hopefully he can still be up there. The altitude robs so much power, I just think the Suzuki is going to be more susceptible to that big power loss because they're coming at such a deficit already from the showroom. So definitely let us know what you guys think. Leave us a comment. Are we off in the weeds or do we sound high right now? Let us know what you think the top three is going to sound like. Leave us a comment. Give us a like. Manny, we've got cool racing to look forward to. We also have a really cool event coming up here in Wisconsin. It is the TCE Moto Bash Ride event. We've got our buddy AJ Catanzaro coming up to ride at Valley MX, do some cool things with the kids. We've got a Friday moto school. Saturday we're doing fast lap challenges. Might even do a dash for cash. We've got swag giveaways, promo codes for everyone, cool goodie bags, and a lot more. Really excited to have AJ out here to ride with a lot of people. Head to a track that I think is really cool, really fun to be around, and is all about the local riding community. So definitely keep an eye out for that, guys. And again, we've got a lot of spots open for our MX Internship Program. Check that out at thecollectivexp.com, at thecollectivex on Instagram. Manny, another venture, I don't know if you saw that we're kind of moving into is arena cross. We haven't talked about that too much, but that whole series is kicking up. We're going to be working with Jeff Crutcher and his ATS team, which is going to be super fun. Jeff Crutcher is a awesome dude to be working with. He's been part of the program for about a year now, and we're giving people the chance to do 2 days of an experience on the arena cross side. Everything is included in terms of you're getting to get hands-on with the riders, hands-on with the team, mechanics, which is mostly what a lot of people want to get into. They want to get that hands-on mechanic experience, and this is the right step for you. So definitely check it out. And again, 2 days of the experience, plus you're going to get written letter from the team promoting you and giving you a letter of recommendation saying that you know your stuff, because they're gonna work you so good and really get you trained up. So excited for that one. Manny, hopefully you and I can get some rides in this week. I'm hoping to ride this weekend. I know you're getting your bike back, getting the Blue Crew all shined up. So we hope you guys are out there riding as well. Me and Manny need to get our asses on some dirt bikes and actually, live what we talk about. So not just sit here talking about dirt bikes, but actually ride them. So I want to thank you guys for always being supportive. Thank you for tuning in. And be sure to check these things out, share, like, subscribe, and we will give you guys another one next week after we get done with Lakewood.
All right. Catch you guys then.
All right, guys. Thank you, Manny, and thank you, everyone. Take care.
All right, later.
I can never lose to you until go, I can never lose to you. Hey, hey.